Shut up! You're nuts! Shut him up! Sorry!
Ooh! I'm Rush, by the way. When you hear what I have to say, you'll understand. I'm sorry. What? Impossible.
Bloody hell!
Oh man, I don't like this!
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you.
Shut up!
I'm sorry.
I was starting to get worried. I thought you were dead.
Who are you?
I was just thinking the same thing.
I saw a huge flash of light and ran over to find you. Just
Shut him up!
Are you able to stand? Leia Organa? Huh?
You know him? No.
I'm sorry, Kyle.
Not again.
Are you supposed to be...
Shut up!
I can't wait to begin my...
Shut up!
Routheron,
Jaden.
whatever. You will be assigned to Master Katarn.
I will kill you.
Damn, that's not good. But let's look into this later.
Master Katarn, it's an honor to be
You know I don't like you. You...
Shit.
What?
You heard me. Get out of my sight, or I'll destroy you.
Please don't hurt me.
Trust me, I will.
I've called you all here to relay some disturbing news. Someone sliced into my personal records and accessed some highly sensitive data about Kyle. However,
I'm not interesting.
Agreed.
Right.
However, I feel you are...
It was him.
No.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Jedi Academy re-edited, or not another, the first one of Jedi Academy re-edited. Saturday Knight Sith is here. How are you doing tonight, Jay Hitman?
Oh, wonderful. How are you? I had to compose myself. I was laughing while that was playing, and I had to compose myself before you started the show. That was
It's a good palate cleanse before we have to deep dive into the muck that has been the book of Boba Who.
What muck we are playing in right now.
Right.
I don't even as we do each show, I take notes before
right.
Just all the kind of different stuff. And I last night, I rewatched it, and I always have a heading, like I always put like Book of Boba and then what chapter we're on. And last time, like, I don't even know what to call it. So I just started just saying opening credits, but I just Book of Who.
I just kind of just have the top of my notes for each episode, just whatever chapter it is. So chapter 6 was the most recent one, and I guess the title for the episode itself is supposed to be "Stranger from the Desert" or something.
I think
like that,
a more fitting could be Disneyfication chapter 6.
Yeah, the Disneying continues.
Yes.
Well,
I think we have a lot. I think I don't know about you, but I have this might be the most notes I've ever taken.
I'd have to say I probably did about the same. And on top of it, I even grabbed, because I know we eventually want to go over it, but I grabbed my my paper book copy of Revenge of the Sith, and I made sure, and I wanted to go through to a couple of parts because it's going to be relevant to what we're going to be talking about with this freaking episode. And I made sure I bookmarked them and everything so I can go over the particular
I'm very
paragraphs
interested to
that
see
I took.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you found in the book, because I also have the book as well. So there's some points you want. Yeah.
And after watching this episode, I'm just like, oh, okay. We
went there.
We not only went there, but we now have our full on, clarification that this is all roads lead, like I put for the title, all roads lead to the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
If you could, people could have tried to deny it as long as humanly possible, but we just got even more and more further concrete proof.
I mean, let's address the elephant in the room. I mean, mine as well.
Go ahead.
I mean, I'm excited just to tear this to shreds. I've heard a lot. I've been trying to do more research and get more out there on social media, and just seeing a lot of like what people are people are actually, and it's not surprising because most of these people, I believe, are children of the mouse, but are actually enjoying these last couple episodes. Because
it's been Mandalorian, and we've been getting more and more. We've been getting more of the key jangling of other characters that have gotten some spotlight.
It's just so interesting. I just want to touch on this before we start. I think I said last episode that I think I asked the question. Did they bring this Din Djarin character, the Mandalorian, back and inject him into the Book of Boba because the Mandalorian was so popular amongst the children of the mouse, and the Book of Boba is just like a wah wah wah,
I've heard a bunch of different things about this whole bringing in of Din Djarin for these episodes, and it's been either because of the whole COVID stuff that they had to push back a lot of their filming and stuff and scheduling that they had set up for Mando season 3, and that's been kind of why we got Book of Boba Fett the way we have, and then this was like just what they could kind of early film.
Yeah,
it's basically gonna be the episodes for Mando season 3, but they decided to throw them into Book of Boba Fett because they probably had nothing much else story wise to go off of.
Yeah,
so that's been part of this is what I've been hearing. Who knows what's true, and I can absolutely see where after that season 2 finale and stuff like that, it was such a big Mandalorian did it, even though it's such a at best a mediocre show.
Are you the Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian, the Mandalorian is such an okay show that it in the sea of, to put it no other way than the sea of shit that is the Star Wars filmography and stuff like that.
I'd rather swim in a sea of than watch this.
I'd rather just get out of the pool and go in and enjoy some good Star Wars content.
I agree.
But I mean, this at least also has been quite the experience of just kind of watching and seeing exactly what it is they're freaking doing, and it's just amazing.
For me, it's been a lot of like scratching my chin and trying to figure out what is your thought process behind this? You do 4 episodes, with Boba,
right?
Or I think, is it 3?
5.
Well, when did Mando?
No, sorry. Yeah, you're right. They started. They had 4 full episodes of nothing but dancing with banthas and
essentially. And then they bring in the Mandalorian. So it's almost like to your point, like this would make more sense to have these last 3 episodes, or I guess 2 really, and be the first episodes for the season 3. And I'm just sitting there like, what are you doing? It's just like, it's mind-boggling.
It really is, because like we've talked about in the previous episodes of this, is that they've only pushed the plot along at such a snail's pace, and they could have set it up a lot differently to at least make it feel like it was flowing a little more better than it was. And then it's like they just don't want Boba Fett to be Boba Fett. No. At least the Boba Fett that everybody
No, yeah, but it begs the point. Like you literally have 2 episodes left. You have a total of probably 90 minutes. I mean, if they're another 40, I don't know.
I'm guessing the last episode, which is supposed to be episode 7, is gonna be maybe a full hour or something like that. Maybe. And
it's literally gonna be episode 1 of season 3. Or however, I mean, furthering the bridge into Mando season 3, since that's basically what these episodes have been nothing but. This book of Boba is going to prove, and I tried to find that article that I talked about last episode where they rated all the Mandalorians, but whoever wrote that article, this book of Boba has proven this guy's point. To have Din Djarin as number 1 on the top 10 most powerful Mandalorians. Right. This book is proving that this guy's point, and I can't stand it. It's like I digress.
Yeah, and I know I was trying to check out an article that actually went over the viewership for the show, but I just couldn't make heads or tails of it. So
really,
yeah, I like I said, I just couldn't make anything of it myself. I just kind of skimmed it too, and it's just kind of like, because supposedly some of this data has been released, and I don't know. It's just like they just kind of vaguely or just kind of talk about how some of the viewerships, like for like Book of Boba Fett episode 1, 389 minutes or millions of viewers. It's hard. Like I said, I just couldn't really make heads or tails.
We were talking about how do you do that on Disney Plus? So whoever clicks on it counts as
apparently
a view?
Yeah, by the 39 minutes, and yeah, like it's either just from actual full viewing of each episode,
right?
But even then, this is only just talking about the first episode.
Interesting.
But the breakdown was kind of over my head.
I wouldn't put it past Bob Iger to figure out a way to
Was it Bob Chapek now or something? That's in charge of Disney?
I thought it was still Iger. I know he stepped aside, but I thought he was still doing Disney Plus because that was his baby. But I wouldn't put it past him to figure out a way to either one figure out the viewership, or he's doing something with numbers. But
that's the thing. They have so many ways now to kind of fudge with everything and inflate it, or just make it look better than it potentially actually is, and stuff like that. And people eat it up, so it's like, oh look, it is actually doing really good. Well, yeah, is it though?
Yeah, I mean, you put a couple zeros behind a 1 and make it look a lot,
Yeah, it fluffs it up real nicely, right?
Well, should we start?
I guess we should get into the episode now.
So I just go ahead.
I had to make sure and look up the guy's name, because for the life of me, I forgot the marshal's name. Cobb Vanth.
Cobb Vanth. Yes, Cobb Vanth.
Our desperado style cowboy marshal.
So I was opening credits, and they're taking a little bit of, I think, cut scenes or whatever from each of all the chapters. But man, this opening scene, like, I'll let you go first, and I'll kind of.
I mean, it's just that. It's just the syndicate are apparently out in his territory, doing some business deals. He comes along, explains the situation. A gunfight happens. He takes out most of them except for one, and he's basically gives them the ultimatum of just you could either just Yeah, I could either shoot you dead, or you can take your money and go and leave the spice behind.
Yeah.
Even in the little syndicate guy tries to say, how that box of spice is worth more than his whole town, and this is kind of, you can see the threats going on, and you're like, okay, this is now gonna put him into hot water because he's doing what he's doing, protecting his town and whatnot, and standing up to the syndicate or whatever. So it sets it up for what'll eventually come. It was, I mean, it's like you can see where it's a little leading down to.
Yeah, I kind of go. So I wrote Barney Fife, aka Marshall Dialogue with the Pikes, had to point to his belt badge and let them know that he's the new sheriff in town. And then there's a shootout, and by shootout I mean that the sheriff marshal wide earps all of them but one.
Right.
Then, to your point,
Well, they did draw on him first, and he was just the better draw.
Yeah, and it's like there's worth more than your town. It's like, well, maybe I'll just retire.
Yeah.
And was this? And I just wanted I don't know. If you watched it this morning, but I just wanted just a moment.
I did actually, and that's when I started, because when I first watched it, I didn't take any notes. I was like, oh crud, I better at least get some stuff down just to have some bullet points again. Yeah, and I watched it this morning, so it's still pretty fresh.
Pretty fresh. I just want to have a moment of silence for the spice that was lost, and it never
for the spice.
For the spice. I mean, it was just tragic. I was like, I just wanted to have a.
There is a Rhodian out there that could be getting high off his balls on some spice right about now, and this asshole cop had to come along.
Shyster Barney Fife had the audacity just to mix it in with the dirt, the dust, the sand.
Yep.
You shyster bastard! How dare you?
Back to the land it goes.
But
there is a Rhodian out there that could be getting high off his glitter stems right now with the spice
glitter stems.
He could be using mixture with his death stick and just having a freaking jolly old time until the old stick in the sand here had to come along.
Yes. I just don't understand. Like, one, the whole belt buckle, this belt buckle right here.
It was kind of like a weird way of, instead of having like the old badge showing,
I would much rather,
but it's like for some reason it's the belt buckle, and
I would much rather watch this scene with Woody than this guy. Woody come in and just tell these pikes, to pound sand, literally and figuratively, and beyond. Like, I don't know if I'm watching like a spaghetti western or Star Wars. I'm
guessing that's kind of the vibe. Eastwood? I'm guessing that's kind of the vibe they're trying to go. Because I said, with my own notes of, he warns the syndicate members about territory they're in and gets to play cowboy sheriff. So it's
I love the fact that he just besmirched everybody that was from well, he says Mos Eisley. I always thought it was pronounced Moss, but I guess I teach his own. But he's like, very much everything goes in Mos Eisley. Like, you just besmirched this whole. There are some cultured people in Mos Eisley.
we're gonna now defend the city folk here. Come on.
There's some. Minus the two that tried to.
Obi-Wan said it himself about Mos. It was Mos Eisley, right? Yeah,
it was Mos Eisley.
Hive of scum and villainy.
Well, he was also probably high off spice when he met Luke. Listen, if you were subjected to Tatooine for 30 some odd years, or however many years watching over this child, you'd probably be high off spice too. I know I would. Living in a ute on Tatooine, smoking, but so I just is it a western? Is it not? Like, a ute.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the funny thing. That was basically the whole tone of the Mandalorian was, at least certainly in the beginning and stuff, and a few episodes here and there, was like the whole wandering cowboy sort of thing going on, but none of it really amounted up to much because it was just mostly Mando playing babysitter the whole freaking time. So
yeah. And then we get to so I want to touch on this. So you go first because it
was just now and then we get Mando, cut back to Mando and his souped up Naboo starfighter that shouldn't have jump to light speed travel, but hey, it does. Cool, because a one seater like that is going to be able to sustain a person for that long. But hey, cool.
It doesn't need rings. It doesn't need hyperspace rings. You forgot to say that.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
But no, it's just him. I don't even know what the hell. I didn't even catch the name of what this planet's supposed to be called.
I did some research last night, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it, but I want you to continue, and then I'll kind of jump in.
Because I know it's not Tython, so
no. Well, so
that's how they made contact with Luke or whatever, is when they went to Tython, and then. So, but anyway, go ahead.
I said Mando travels to this planet Luke is on, and so I was doing some research, and the research, like the articles I was reading, it's supposed to be Ashta. It's the same planet that Luke is on, the same planet that he finds Rey, or Rey goes to find him on.
What?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't seem right, because this is pretty much going to be the planet where the whole Jedi temple that he has in his academy and stuff, where it gets burned to the ground, because we basically get after Mando lands and stuff, and he sees the little robots building. That's basically the beginnings of what we're seeing that is. And so I can't imagine it's that planet that Rey went to find Luke.
So
that's supposed to be like off the charts and everything,
right? So I agree with you.
Mando was just able to just go there. So.
Well, he's a Mandalorian. Yeah, give him credit. So I agree with you on that. It doesn't make the article, and I wish I could figure out how to maybe post or send it to you, and you can maybe post it.
You can drop it in the private chat if you want.
Yeah.
In
Streamlabs. This is why. And I don't, there's the great debate out there, like Wikipedia is really good and Wikipedia is not. And we've had our own conversations about Wikipedia, but this article is actually on Wikipedia.
Okay.
So, but they're saying that the planet that he's on is Ashta, at least what I had gathered.
I think that's supposed to be, when maybe, I don't know if it's now or later, but
well, no, this was, it specifically said that, Luke is on training Grogu on Ashtu, however you pronounce it.
Where Rey's supposed to have met up with him.
But
I think somebody has
the same ridiculous planet he's going to train Rey on. But then it jumps down to Mando reunited with his old friend R2D2. You have known this droid all of 30 seconds.
This is what kind of caught, and I don't know if we talked about it last time too, is I'm like, didn't he have like a severe hatred of robots?
He did.
And droids and shit.
Yes.
And had basically like his own little PTSD and stuff of the super battle droids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where did that go?
I don't.
Because I don't
listen,
even think
you can't discriminate. This culture, Project Filter, you can't discriminate. Droids have feelings too.
That was the whole start of his character, though, was that he hated droids.
Well,
and then it is after season 1, because that the reprogrammed IG-88 droid sacrificed itself. Is that why he suddenly is like, you know what? Even though I was hunted and almost killed by super battle droids during the Clone Wars, and it took a bunch of Death Watch Mandos to come and save me. I then had a forever fear and hatred of the damn robots. It just took that one droid with a heart of gold for me to turn my ideals around.
Yeah, I just remember, like, this is the same guy, the same guy in the opening scene of season 1 where he's going across the ice lake. He's like, no droids.
Yeah,
and so he was the guy with
he was so insistent on no droids. I was like, okay, dude, we got you. I understand. I played Republic Commando. I hated those damn droids. I understand that.
And then the butchering of the IG-8 droid. Is it IG-8? Is it IG-8?
It is an IG-88 style droid, basically.
You butchered that.
That's how I know it.
One of the most the most deadly droids out there, and you turn it into a housemaid, nurse wife, whatever you call it.
Oh, I only remember that it had like done the whole sacrifice at the end, walking in the lava and crap.
That you read,
or whatever.
Is that droid not in the bounty? I know it is in the Shadows of the Empire,
right?
Like, doesn't Boba have a bounty hunting droid? And it's like, and then
no,
is it
not in the bounty. I don't think not in the Bounty Hunter Wars, unless it was like during one of the flashbacks. And I kind of missed it. Shadows of the Empire was IG-88, and the IG-88 droid appeared in Empire Strikes Back when Vader was meeting with all the droid with all the bounty hunters. So
a deadly droid, not something that is caring for a
little infant-ish alien thing.
Just want to interject real quick, and then we can continue. What really pissed me off about Wikipedia is when I was doing research about like Grogu and all this and that.
Oh God!
Do you want to know what they put for its species?
A Yoda species or Yoda-like species?
Yoda species, and you want to know what I was yelling at my house. I'm surprised that the cops did not respond to my house because I was yelling.
We've got an angry nerd here.
I distinctly remember watching it wasn't even a documentary, but it was an interview with Lucas saying that it was Lucas. We got to find the clip and we got to post it. I will find it, but it's Lucas watching The Mandalorian, and he's sitting there and he is eviscerating it because he's like, I specifically and intentionally never gave Yoda a species. I never even. You
should dig that.
I will
and send that to me.
I will find it. I will post it. But I'm saying like Lucas. He's saying that he never came. He did it intentionally. It was supposed to be just this mysterious.
Well, that's kind of the thing. I mean, you look at Phantom Menace, and there's Yoda and Yaddle.
Those are the only
Yaddle
two.
Didn't even. Yeah, they didn't even really. Unless is it. I was gonna say, movie wise, they didn't really elaborate on her, but in the comics and stuff, they did. I just don't know any of the storylines, so that was never something that interested me. So I just never checked.
I just wanted to go on
that
rant real quick.
I
about
understand
species. So but yeah. So reunited with his old friend that he loves and hates, R2-D2, because it's a droid, and then running around this planet searching for his kid. Like,
it's just funny because it's just like R2 just is hanging out there because at least the first context we don't even know why. It just happens to be there.
Just be there, and then he falls asleep.
Leads him off, and then we see the like ant-looking droids that are milling around using all the stones and stuff like that. And apparently doing nothing else.
Building this ute. Yeah. I apologize if anybody who's listening lives in a ute, but I just think they're hilarious. This is literally what it is, a freaking ute.
I'm just like, why not? I understand. Okay, they wanted to get away from the expanded universe so they could create their own lore. But why not do a smart thing and
whoa,
take? I know. I'm Disney doing something smart. It's not likely. Kathleen Kennedy doing something smart. Never gonna happen. But my point, what I'm trying to go to is like, why not actually use what Lucas had already established for the Rebel base for Yavin 4? I mean, those are already some cool looking temples from an outside perspective. You could have just used that, just like they did in the EU. That could have been like a good nod of, hey, see, we're paying attention.
Because it's Disney.
But no, they have to build a crappy rock cut using droids instead of like Luke.
You spelled
being
you
there.
Wrong.
Whatever. Instead of like either Luke being there using the Force and assembling it himself or something, doing something cool like that. But no, it's just a bunch of worker robots that are assembling the little Ute.
Well, but to touch on that, it's like you got unlimited amount of rocks there, and you build
Apparently,
and then you build this.
Apparently, these are like these are the most perfect rocks around that require no cutting, no molding, no nothing. They just have to collect them and put them on
a circular
dome. Basically,
with no like
just the door
with no windows, with
no windows
no
or nothing,
glass
just the door
or anything, because apparently there's no glass on that planet. I guess you can't make glass. But
apparently,
so now I think we get into like the really just meat and potatoes, and by meat and potatoes I mean like just utter headache and brain bleeding. I don't know. I may have
and this night. I mean, basically, like a lot of what ends up coming up now is a bunch of training montage stuff between Luke and Grogu.
I said Luke and Grogu kumbaya meditating scene.
Yeah, I just said, like it is. Robots are constructing the beginnings of the end of Luke's Jedi temple instead of using, temples on Yavin 4 for his base of operations. R2 just randomly, shuts off like a dick and leaves Mando guessing of what the hell is going on, while the robots do happen to assemble him a bench to sit on and rest on or whatever. But R2's just like, click off.
He's like,
deal with it.
He's sucker. Like, suck a fart. I'm done.
Basically.
I think the scene is where Luke and Grogu are meditating, and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, you got this 50-year-old child using the Force to catch a snack, then get scolded by his new dad.
What I laughed was like, Luke is, Luke and Grogu meditating, and then Grogu attempts to eat little one-eyed frogs. He's still a monster.
Yeah, and then Then it's Luke's turn to play with Grogu's lunch.
Yeah, and he kind of shows off a little bit and lifts up a bunch of. Although it's just for him just lifting up a bunch of little frogs. So
I will say this: I was pretty shocked that they had the audacity to put that scene in there, like Grogu eating a frog with like.
Well, he didn't, but they were certainly wanting him to.
Oh, it was close. Sure. He was kissing the frog almost.
He was. Yeah.
Like, how dare you attempt to put a scene in there that would offend PETA and all the. Listen, I got dogs, I got cats, I have a love of animals, but I'm just surprised that they would put something so monstrous as to consume a living creature on a show.
The one thing I'll say for this, just because of this part, is Luke's deep fake face at least looks a lot better this time around than it did until
season 2.
Unlike season 2 where it was bad. This at least looks a little more like him from Return of the Jedi timeline and had better detail. So I'm guessing those guys that
did they ever
done
release
the better version, that they've been helping clean it up and make it look at least a little better. But I found it funny that quite a bit of the time when he's talking, they'll cut away and very infrequently actually be on his face while he is talking.
Was Hamill on set during? I know we talked about he was on set Mandalorian 2. But was he actually on set for this one?
He was credited, so I can only guess that he was maybe doing some of the voice work, and then they maybe auto-tuned or something to make him sound younger. But I mean, when I listened to him, when I was listening to his lines of dialogue, which were just shit to begin with, but the tone of voice and everything, it made it. I don't know if you've really played a lot of games, and if you've played like the David Cage games like Heavy Rain and Detroit and stuff like that. It sounded so stilted, like one of those characters talking.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, this is feeling flat as hell, and there's not a lot of emotion in it.
No.
It's just kind of deadpan. And I'm just like, he sounds about as convincing as one of those characters right now.
Yeah. He looks about as convincing as the Sand People.
So, yeah.
Well, that was begs the point or the question. Like, was Hamill actually on set for this? Like, I know they got to do like
I
auto tune
don't
and all that.
know.
To, like,
I don't know. It's a
with his
good
voice.
question.
Yeah, I didn't know. If,
I just,
yeah.
I, my only guess is that he maybe did the voice work and then they modeled his face again for probably some of the scenes, but they used a body double basically, or a body alternative at this point to play the younger Luke and to do all the more actiony.
You mean
sort
Luke didn't
of
let him?
moves.
At one point, did Luke let himself go? Then
so that'll be much later.
Yeah, much later down the line where
when he does grow a beard and then he just lets himself
and then throws
go
his
completely
throws the lightsaber away.
Yeah. Oh God.
Stop. Get back in the cage.
We're already gonna be working up towards that. So, he and then him and Luke and Grogu go on a little walk and they're kind of walkie time. And it's kind of fluffing him up a little bit, telling him how he's very strong in the Force and how similar he is to Yoda, and talking about Yoda and how his apprenticeship under him, how he talked, and stuff like that. And then they go into Luke then starting to help Grogu remember his past. And that's where we now get a little more member berries scene of remembering the Jedi Temple being attacked by the 501st clones, and all the Jedi that were protecting him and getting shot down and killed by the clone troopers. But then it gets cut off like right there, and we don't know how he got out yet. They're still dangling that carrot to go. We gave you a little bit. It was minuscule, but we gave you something to. But then that just kind of ends up going into more how they still find a way to, be kind of belittle Luke with his training and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like a little bit later, and I'm going to be jumping ahead really quick, and it's like, later, and he's like, I don't think I'm training him in anything. He's just remembering. It's like, what? Really? You're going to do this?
You're the one. You cut your dad's arm off. Like, act like you got a set, man.
Right? And it's kind of, sucking up to Ahsoka a little bit. Oh God!
This is where I lost it. So I'm either really really stupid, and I'm missing something, or these bastards are just stupid. So I did probably more research on just this episode alone than I have probably the last 5. But so I wrote some notes down here. So obviously it's walk time with Grogu because you got to walk after you eat for a child. This little thing can barely move and walk.
So he's using the Force to kind of move him along.
So Luke restores Grogu's memory of his home. Right. And then, like you said, we're at the Jedi Temple, Vision of Order 66. So when I did my research, again, this is on Wikipedia. So whether you want to say it's true or not, like that's up for that's up for debate. This website is saying that Grogu was, and this is quotation. I wrote this question. So if Grogu was born in the Jedi Temple, would he not know Yoda? Why is Luke explaining him to him? And
I think that's part of the whole memory block. Right. That it's going to probably be more elaborated upon later in probably Mandalorian season 3. Would be my bet, unless they finally do the Ahsoka series. Yeah, and that's where we're going to get some extra kind of fill in. Because I got something for that too.
Well, bring it on.
So then after the whole Order 66 scene, Mandos was sleeping until he gets kind of jostled awake and Ahsoka's here, yay!
Right.
Who was apparently responsible for R2 leading him over there, apparently. And it's just like, okay, so you knew he was coming somehow. Groovy. force perception, I guess.
Right.
But so she's because they're going back and forth on why she didn't train him, and because it was Grogu's choice, yada yada. But then this is part of our little insights to what's going to be coming, because Ahsoka is starting to go on and lecture Mando in particular at this moment to kind of emotionally manipulate him to leave. But she starts going on about attachments and how that can be, and it's again the old Jedi mentality.
Yes,
that was the benefits to the EU, was Luke learned from that.
right.
You can have certain attachments. It's just a matter of how you compartmentalize it and not allow it to become further into where it's greed and you're just trying to be more of a possession sort of thing. So
right. So this was and I want to get your thoughts before we jump ahead, and just because this is where my issue with it. So are they painting Luke with Luke? So I mean, according to Wikipedia, Grogu born 41 BBY before the Battle of Yavin, and the species was Yoda's species. Lucas never gave one.
There's never been a...
Yeah. It says, born approximately 41 BBY during the era of the Galactic Republic, this mysterious alien known as Grogu was raised in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant and trained by several masters until the Jedi Order fell in the Great Jedi Purge.
Right.
At the end of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask this, get your thoughts on it. Would Luke have known this, or would Luke have not known this if this is published and if this is out there
Luke,
on the internet?
You mean known about the destruction
Grogu?
of the
Well, no, would he have known about Grogu?
I think he might have gotten certain fill-ins but just from Mando and what Mando knew. I don't think he knew that he came from the Jedi temples.
Yeah.
At the time, unless somehow Ahsoka learned something in season 2 and then told Luke.
But if Ahsoka trained under Anakin and Grogu lived at the temple, Ahsoka would know that Grogu. That's why it was very confusing for me. And again, I could be stupid and missing something, but doing kind of the research, it's like if Ahsoka trained under Anakin, which I know it's not canon, but for all intents and purposes for the argument, if she was with Anakin and was at the Jedi temple, she was there prior to Order 66.
Yeah, why doesn't she have any knowledge of him?
Why does she not know that Grogu knew Yoda? It just, I don't know. And it's just Disney probably being Disney, but it was just you see where I'm going? It's just very confusing and frustrating. Part of the reason what caused me to yell, I'm like, you idiots! Why? But anyways, I just wanted to put that in there.
No, it doesn't. You're absolutely right. That's a good point, because I didn't take that into consideration, that she should know. I would think she would know something. I don't know if considering he could barely talk, unless there's gonna be a point where he finally starts vocalizing instead of just a bunch of oohs, ahs, and stuff like that.
Farts.
So I would have had to imagine she was potentially training alongside him as a youngling, pre-Padawan era.
I've done more math the last 2 days than I have in my whole life, trying to, with the galactic, the Star Wars timeline, how their dating system with BBY, and then gets ABY after the Battle of Yavin and all this and that. But just trying to it just doesn't so you should know, right? I mean,
you're doing better than me.
She's 14 years. Apparently, she was 14 years old when she followed under the apprenticeship of Anakin. Anakin was 19. Anakin turned into Vader when he was 22. So, it just. I mean, I know this is probably going above and beyond, but it's I'm just trying to figure out are you legit trying to go here with something, or are you just throwing stuff out there to see if it'll stick on a wall? So I don't know.
I can't help but go. I'll always go to they're throwing shit at the wall and they're trying to see what sticks.
Nothing,
because it just feels like that's all they're doing. But I've joked with some people, it's you could have monkeys doing that and they probably get better results.
100%. But
because it just everything that they're trying, this falls absolutely flat on its face.
I think, and then you
at least for us sane people.
Can we also have just a moment of silence for all the brave 501st troopers that died against the Jedi? Maybe we should have a moment of silence.
The best and the bravest.
Best and the bravest. Thank you, 501st, for your loyalty and service. But yeah, you said so. Then we jump to Mando napping on his makeshift bed,
right,
and
on the bench, and then like I said, that's where we kind of get hit the whole.
Yeah,
we learned that she was the one that wanted to meet up with Mando first, just so she can kind of, like I said, lecture him on it. This is like my notes I made. Ahsoka trying to lecture on attachments and choice for Grogu and his training. Questions Mando on if he's doing this for himself or for Grogu, and that's kind of what
your
notes
notes
on.
Fractured Filter. Your notes are a lot better than mine because I wrote wakes up next to Ahsoka. Great dialogue. What is Grogu? And then he goes into the whole fomling and Mando, all this. And I was like, what is Grogu now? Mando's fomling son? I mean, those are my two notes.
That's basically it.
Good on you.
His adopted child, basically. Well, and then she also, poses the question at him because he keeps referring to Grogu as a foundling, and she's like, she questions him on whether or not Grogu is Mandalorian foundling or Padawan now, and then offers.
I was like, that's a low blow. You.
And then she offers to take the gift to give it to him herself, and it's just like
she's just a. You know what she is? She's a Togruta shyster. She's a pile. Like you have the audacity to just low blow him, even if he's wearing Beskar. I don't know if he's wearing a Beskar cup, but you might as well have just punched him in the nutsack with that comment.
It's just, for this character that's, herself made part of the decision to leave the Jedi and everything, and you would think gaining some new perspective and everything on that, she's just as dogmatically staying to the old Jedi ways.
And to your point, she left the Jedi Order because of her viewpoint.
Barriss Ophi, I think it was, that bombed the Jedi Temple. And tried to frame her, and they had that whole drama, and then she, after getting her name cleared, still decided, peace out. I'm leaving.
I don't believe in what you stand for. I'm deucing out of here. And then you come back.
She's the one talking most of all about the attachments.
She drinks
all this crap.
Listen, I guess when you start drinking the Kool-Aid, you can never stop drinking the Kool-Aid.
I guess not. It's just,
and that's a whole nother thing I was trying to figure out. Like she was 14 to 16 years old when she followed Anna, when she was apprenticing Anakin, and then Anakin was 19, and then at 22 he was 22 when he became Vader. How old is she? Because I looked up the lifespan of a Togruta, and it was like 74 to 94 years old is the lifespan. How old? And they said, Disney released in this article that she's 45 years old in the Book of Boba. I'm like, how does that math work?
Wait. Okay, so 20 years after. So 20 years to
she would be 60
A New Hope.
Years old in the Clone
20
Wars.
years is like what? 20 years to A New Hope, right?
Yeah.
So she would have been already in her 30s.
Yeah, but this is far after.
And then this is she no, so maybe 40, maybe being in her 40s to 50s is probably about right.
I'm terrible at math.
Maybe.
But I'm like that. She's 14 in the Clone Wars, and then you have to do another. And they said Anakin became Vader at 22, and this is so from 22 to A New Hope is however many years. Well, I guess it was in probably a couple years, maybe.
Because they had her character in Rebels, so that's.
And I don't know the time. I've never watched Rebels, so I don't.
Well, Rebels is supposed to be like a chunk of time before A New Hope.
I was just like, how old is she? Like from when?
No, Vader... I think that sounds about right.
I was really hoping you would disagree with me, or you would agree with me.
I'm sorry. You know I would, but
Okay,
no,
well,
I think, and this is supposed to be like 5 years after the fall of the Empire, so
okay, well that makes sense.
so
Then.
it's unfortunate, but you know
Whatever.
it
So
is
they
what it
got
is.
something somewhat right then, bastards. Yeah, I just that whole dialogue is just like, you're going back on you left, and now you're going back to what you left, essentially.
Yeah. It's so
Where do we jump to now? I kind of I fell asleep during that dialogue.
It's basically, like I said, it gets more into the whole Luke and Grogu training montages and stuff like that, because he's trying to instruct him on using the Force for one to start out as just jumping around, which is okay. That's some basics to start him out with, some easy stuff. But it all gets kind of ruined anyways with his later dialogue. But for now, he's been. And what was funny too was when I was when I watched it the first time and I rewatched it this morning to take my notes and stuff, it's funny. It's like, they're again playing on more nostalgic moments, because while Luke is running and jumping and flipping around and stuff like that with Grogu on his back, he's doing all the same movements and stuff that he did in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. I was like, okay, here we go.
Luke Grogu training session 2.0. And these are my notes. Utter ridiculousness, and you got to bring back the training remote.
Right. Yeah. So,
but I don't understand the jump. And I think Yoda. I think I had researched this years ago, but Yoda there was something that I don't remember what exactly the thing's called, but Yoda he would draw in the Force to make him more agile. I think that was actually a legit move that he did, or a Force maneuver that he did during his fighting. I think it's one of the 7 fighting styles or whatnot. I could be wrong, but yeah, he's basically using the Force to actually move.
Yeah,
like bouncing on a bamboo stick. Why? What?
Well, that's
a twig.
I think he's supposed to be. I hate to be trying to explain their shit, but
please explain, because I
think it's just furthering him trying to use the Force to help balance himself, where with his tiny little body and the way it is,
with his
he doesn't have
or they're stuck in his.
He basically has no real kind of center of gravity or whatever it is, so awkward for him. So using the Force to help balance and stuff like that is my only guess. But so when after flipping around and stuff like that, because Luke climbs up the bamboo.
I wrote this in my notes.
And he's overlooking, and he starts saying the wide world exists in balance, and he's talking about just how the Force exists in the world and stuff like that. How it's again, feel the Force around you and all that sort of stuff.
The same thing Yoda said.
And they're playing the Jedi theme in the background, and it's like darn it, there's a part of me that really wants to enjoy this. I really want to be like, oh, this is excellent. We're seeing Luke training somebody, getting to start down the path to being the Jedi Master that we know him from the books and everything. But
wait, you want to
know exactly where everything's gonna freaking lead.
Yeah.
And it's I can see it where from some people's perspectives, where it's a good scene,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just tainted by what we know.
This is my 2 cents, and people agree with me, they disagree with me. This is just classic Disney stealing from Lucas,
right,
to create nostalgia. So
recycling everything.
Episode 7. You watch Episode 7. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you watch Episode 7? It's some of those scenes. A New Hope. Literally,
Finn shouting "Rey."
Well, yeah, but the scene. It's just steal.
No, it's just it's a bunch of where they try to set things up, but then it's just all kind of like, oh hey, Jakku, very like Tatooine. Hey, it's all, and then they steal the Millennium Falcon and
then Chewie and Han and all.
And all that.
They can't come up with anything good on their own, so they have to. They hate Lucas so much. Like, if you hate Lucas so much, why are you stealing his content?
I think for some of that's their own ego in thinking that they can take what he did and then somehow make it better. Yeah. So they like it is. They took it that next step forward, right?
Well, yeah.
Or whatever. They instead of a moon-sized station, it's the whole planet.
I'm gonna
right?
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. There's part of me like I want to enjoy Luke rebuilding the Jedi Order train. Like I want to do that, but like this scene it's not even laughable. Like really, it's just downright. It's like you just like why? You have the ability to create so much better content. Yeah. But you want to climb up two bamboo shafts and kind of steal from dialogue that you had with like in Return to, or I'm sorry, my goodness, I'm so pissed right now.
Because it's like I don't know when he busts out the line, but I think it's like Luke instructing Grogu on trying to use the Force to jump and uses Yoda's lines of "do or do not." There is no try. Basically, he just phrased it differently.
If I had been arrested last night, that's what I've been arrested. I would have been arrested for.
We could not have recorded this episode, dude.
No, I would have. You've been like
shouting at Book of Boba Fett.
This is what it would have been. You have a collect call from the detention facility that I'm in. So, except if that ever happens, one of us got.
I'm gonna know why.
Yes, aired on a Saturday. You get one free. This is the one free phone call that I would use. But gosh, yeah, and just how many times did you fall asleep watching? And be honest, how many times did you fall asleep watching this training session with Grogu and Luke? I'll be honest, I have no shame in my game.
When I first watched it, I didn't feel that sleepy.
Oh.
Although I was kind of bored. I was just kind of like, come on. And it just kind of felt like it was kind of slogging along. But then like when I watched it this morning, it felt like it moved. And I was even kind of pausing it to make some of my notes.
Yeah.
Too. So
same here, yeah.
Second time around at least felt like it was moving a little better.
Yeah.
This is my first time watching. I was like,
I fell asleep last night on the couch trying to get through it. Had to wake myself up. But so I think then we jump down to the Ahsoka and Luke dialogue.
It's the whole. He's using the training remote to test.
To
test his reflexes and to kind of get him in a way motivated to start trying to really use the Force to help move himself around the area.
He's moving a lot better than Luke did in A New Hope.
Or Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah, Empire Strikes Back.
Well, he certainly. Well, that's where it comes in, right? Where he's like, where
is that
Luke
the same
is worried.
Backpack that he used with Yoda? They just keep it from
seems similar,
purposes?
But I don't know if it was the same.
Maybe, yeah.
But he's got him moving and jumping around, but then that's where Luke comes in with that whole line of it seems like more like he's remembering than it is me training him. It's like, again, it's like
no confidence.
Really? Yeah, he's a lack of confidence. But then it's so weird because it's like I don't know when it gets brought up, but it's like, Ahsoka's like, just like your father. What, a lack of confidence and a complete twat, I guess.
I was
just like, where did that come from? Because there was nothing in what he was talking to her about that was that would have brought that on. In my opinion, I mean, please prove me wrong. But
Well, it makes no sense because she verbatim, she says sometimes, or he says sometimes I wonder if his heart's is in it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, so much like your father. I'm like,
oh yeah. I don't
Why
know
would
where
you
that
make that-
comes from.
But then she smiles like she's like,
Yeah, like it's a fun little memory or something. Like, I mean, I
listen, and
watched-
I have my own theories. I think Anakin was banging Ahsoka on the sidelines. My own.
No, let's not go. Oh, that's
Hey, it's
that's-
better than a Jawa.
dude. That's some jailbait territory right there. If not younger than him, come on.
Listen, not my
Let's not
opinion.
go there. Let's not go there.
Watch the Clone Wars and see how she snips. Really? Listen, not my opinion. I don't condone jailbait. I'm just telling you. What...
Not Luke. Sorry, Anakin preferred them older,
and not.
That's
Jawas.
why he went for Padme.
Okay. Well, that. Ooh, but so is Padme jailbait then? Is she robbing the cradle?
Well, I mean.
10 years old.
The joke was, yeah, for her going after the 9-year-old. But at least when you go through the novelization, it puts it in a lot more better context because she's supposed to be 13, but in the movie, yeah, she's being played by a 20-year-old. So.
Who's really at fault here, Patrick Filter? Me or the portrayal of these? Yeah.
Okay,
okay.
We're going.
I thought it was funny. Apparently, it's not. I'm trying not to laugh over it. I'm like really trying not to laugh.
I'm sure you're not the only one that had those sinking suspicions. Believe.
Listen, I'm just saying.
There was some weirdness between those two.
Weirdness.
Let's put it that way.
Okay,
let's put it that way.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. But this is another thing, and this was something that I heard from another live stream. They brought it up. This YouTuber Ryan Cannell. He's like, why didn't we get to see Ahsoka and Luke meeting for the first time? Where was that? Because good Lord, could that have not have been a great moment to actually have somebody that knew Anakin during the height of the Clone Wars and everything, and how that interaction could have been of going to Luke Skywalker and going, I knew your father, and
I had a crush on your dad, and we used to
I was trying to take it in some
sorry
fun. You had to reel it back.
No,
it's
you think your sister's Leia? Not really.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I digress. I'm back in my cage. I got the spray bottle right here. I'm spraying.
But no, that and when that sort of thing got brought up, I instantly I did start to think, oh, that's probably what they'll save for the Ahsoka show if they ever actually go through with it, is them getting to meet for the first time.
Yeah,
because it's been also, and this is something I'm gonna have to do one of these days, or I might do it after the show and order it. Is grab the book Ghosts of Tatooine, which is I've only listened to the audiobook and it's abridged and everything, but I really enjoyed it for the whole aspect of it's Leia. She kind of gets this.
Which book is it?
It's Tatooine Ghost.
Oh, okay.
And it first starts out with her having a Force vision, or the ghost of Anakin comes to her and is kind of asking for a level of forgiveness from her, if not for herself to put at rest, but for him to also kind of get to a better place of the afterlife or whatever. But that's kind of how things get started out, and it's her and Han on a mission for the rebellion at the time, or it's kind of after. I forget the exact placement.
Please don't tell me it's the New Republic.
I think it might be some of the the Republic's kind of trying to form, but I want to. It's in that time frame.
Yeah,
but her and Han go to Tatooine, and they're trying to retrieve a special painting that's had like certain basically codex of what the rebellion uses for mission transmission for transmissions and stuff like that, special codings, and that's where they eventually meet up. I gotta bring it up really quick. They also learn, Tatooine Ghost. So that when they go down to the planet, and they learn about how they find a holographic of a kid wearing the speeder goggles and stuff like that, and it's the hollow of Anakin after he won the Boonta Eve race from Episode 1, and the hollow is in the possession of his old friend. I'm trying to find his name now. Kitster, that was it. Kitster Benai. And Leia gets to meet Kitster, and she gets to learn just who Anakin Skywalker was from his days as a slave, and gets to learn what kind of person he was at the start of that, and what he did before he left Tatooine, because like it gets mentioned in that book, and then was mentioned especially in the novelization of Episode 1, how he gives off like some of his winnings and stuff like that to people in the town, but he gives some of his money to Kitster to help him out. And so, getting that kind of moment was a really cool thing to go through for that book. And that's why I gotta order the actual book to read the actual book, to find all the details that weren't necessarily put in, since it was an abridged audiobook. But
abridged.
Yeah, it was abridged, but to read the book and get the whole unabridgment. But it's where that they could have had that sort of same moment between Ahsoka and Luke, where he could have learned more about his father pre Darth Vader days
and fallen.
And I mean, Leia had a much different relationship too with Vader in particular, especially with A New Hope, where she gets personally tortured for information, and then Empire Strikes Back, she's basically I don't think she got tortured, but she had to watch Han basically be tortured by Vader.
What a great scene.
all to further bring Luke there.
Yeah.
So it and through that whole book too, it's like her coming to a level of acceptance of the kind of seeing what Anakin was, to lead him to becoming weirdly Darth Vader, the enslaver of the galaxy.
Yeah.
So no, it's where something like that kind of a moment could have been really good for them to kind of really bait on, but again, this could just be more stuff they're potentially saving.
I wouldn't
give them the credit. I wouldn't give them the credit now.
They're not smart enough to do something like that. And I tell you why they're not, because they would have already done it. If they were smart, they would be tapping into EU and taking that approach, but they're too prideful, and they want to create their, and it's so stupid. They're prideful and they want to create their own thing, but they're still stealing from Lucas. So you're not.
They pick and choose what they want to use from Lucas's era of canon.
Yeah, to say like this is what we produce, like you're a liar.
Yeah, basically.
It's not. So, and honestly, the only good stuff is when they do steal from Lucas. Everything else, is, to quote a wise man by the name of Fractured Filter, is a sea of shite.
Yep.
I think no, I agree with you. I think that would have been amazing
Yeah.
to get that backstory. I know I made
It
the
would have.
joke
It
about
could have been.
Ahsoka
It could have been an
Anakin,
interesting
but
little moment for
it
the
also
two
could
of
be
them.
very weird because if I'm correct with the relationship between Anakin and Ahsoka, that'd be really awkward. Just saying.
No.
Calm down.
Anyway, on to. So we finally get back to Mando, who
Yes.
had bunked off earlier. He had bunked off. He's like, okay, fine. I'm gonna leave you with my little present for Grogu, and I'm gonna go home to Tatooine.
Not Mandalore to
he
redeem
goes,
himself.
No, season 3.
Yes, that's true. Sorry.
No, but we get a little insight, right? Because he goes to Boba's
Where's
palace.
my notes at? Yeah.
Boba's palace, whatever you want to call it now. But he flies right in, parks, gets out, and all he has to say to the Gamorrean guard is, Fennec Shand sent me. Now, is this how the freaking Chrysanthemum got in? He just said, oh, Boba Fett sent me.
Yeah.
I'm going to see him right now. Oh, go right on through, guy. You're cool. This is like
At the request of Fennec Shand, I believe, is what he.
Yeah, he's like, I'm here on the request of Fennec Shand, and it's just like the Gamorrean guy's like, oh, okay, cool, come on.
Okay, cool, yeah. Dude, we've been waiting for you. Come on in, dude.
Yeah, I don't need any proof of conversation or anything like that. I don't have to check it with anybody. You're good to go, my friend. You look kind of like you dress like Boba Fett. You're good.
Yeah, you got shinier armor than him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So basically, then it's just them going over their battle plans, and it's Fennec talking the whole time, and we know Tamora Morrison wanted to be more Boba-like, but I don't think this is what he was exactly getting at when he's standing there, also still helmetless.
Yeah,
and she's doing all the talking, and meanwhile he's just the guest star in his own show.
Literally, like you said, he's like, I don't think I should be speaking as much as and I'm really bad at Australian accent, but essentially, it's like I don't think I'm talking too much, and there's Favreau or Filoni, whichever
was like, okay, here you go.
Whoever the stooge was that he said it to is like, okay, and now you're literally, you're a guest non-speaker on your own show.
Basically.
So, without your helmet. Again.
Yeah.
Because you're a Mandalorian, but not a Mandalorian.
Right.
That was Mandalore, by the way. Maybe later down the road.
Maybe.
I was like, Amanda, here we go. Meeting around the holo projector. And I love what she says. Thanks to Din Djarin and Chrysanthemum, we have enough power.
Yeah, we now have enough. We have enough experienced muscle to start enforcing the streets. Basically,
yes.
That's basically what it was.
And it's like, and he's like, we need foot soldiers.
But we need foot soldiers to patrol the streets, and then that's where Djarin comes in. It's like, I might know somebody that can help us, or I do. I think he was more confident. He's like, I know somebody that can help us with this. So he's like, he's just already speaking.
He's more confident than Boba. Yeah. Hence why he's number 1 on the top 10 the top 10 most deadly Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Then we got Mando flies to
he starts flying to the town, but
what's it called? Where's he go? What's it called?
Hang on. I got one thing to point out in particular.
Please.
How the hell did a bunch of freaking Jawas get what looks like a crate dragon skull on top of their freaking sandcrawler? How?
Oh.
How?
That's interesting.
How?
That is one. I saw it, but that detail slipped my notes.
Hang on. Yeah, I'll even.
Was it? Oh, maybe it was. One of their the girlfriend, the mechanic.
Oh God! I was trying to forget that.
The girlfriend helped probably.
Oh, probably did.
You thought you were gonna
to get some Jawa poon.
Poutine.
Hang on, I'm gonna grab the screenshot really quick because I'm just like, how the hell did they manage this?
is the mechanic.
Here we go. Yeah, how?
That
You can-
looks so much not cooler than just a regular sandcrawler.
They got some bling on their car now.
They did that to show everybody, don't mess with us. We killed a crate dragon.
Right? I guess it's one way to deter people, I suppose, to get those sand people off their backs.
Yeah.
So
It was the,
yeah,
but
so
no,
then,
it's the
it
girlfriend helped after a late night snack.
So yeah, the town's name is
Pelagro.
Pelagro, was that it?
Pelgo, I think. Pelgro, Meese.
I'm trying to find the name right now because I was just like, everything out there. Yeah, it's Mos Pelgo.
Mos Pelgo. He wrote
but of course he gets told it's now called Freetown, so
which is just something you would imagine.
I'm sure that's a reference
Western.
to something too. Yeah,
What?
Sure
like what?
I don't know, but I'm sure it's something. Like I don't know why my brain went. I could have sworn there was something like that called Freetown in one of the Fallout games, but that's where my brain went.
Well, yeah, Fallout or a Clint Eastwood spaghetti western, Hang 'em High.
Probably it wouldn't. I haven't. I gotta watch those movies.
He's like, it's Freetown now. We like to be called Freetown.
Yeah.
I wrote Mando flies to Mos Pelgo to meet with Marshal Vanth, flying in his N1 starfighter, aka Jalopy. Looks like it's going to explode in the air.
And what's amazing? Okay, so this is something I have to try and figure out. How the hell does some marshal in some random ass town on fucking Tatooine, how does he learn about a Naboo starfighter?
I caught that too.
Like these were private specialized for the Naboo military.
Yeah.
How that weren't really used outside of them, except for now this because we want nostalgia bait.
Yeah.
But it's like,
what would you call it? Member berries?
Yeah, member berries.
This is just, I caught that too. And this is why I recommend that everybody read Darth Plagueis by James Luceno, because it really touches on the N1 starfighter and why, they're just so cool and everything. But yeah, that, and then I was just wondering, how the hell do they have an engine popping out of the starfighter? Like, why? It looks like a 1976 Chevy Chevelle.
I wanted to say we touched on that on the last episode.
Did we? I can't remember.
I don't. We might not.
So much stupidity that
there was so much going on already. We were just like, oh god. No, I remember seeing that. And I'm just like, are they trying to do the whole like hot rod sort of car thing with
Fast and Furious
motor popping out?
It's like Fast and Furious will never die. There'll be a Fast and Furious 50. You don't need to bring this into Star Wars.
Oh God, is that it? Somebody was watching too much Fast and the Furious, so they're like, you know what? We got to make the Naboo starfighter look like one of those muscle cars.
We feel really bad about the relationship between Vin and The Rock, so we're just gonna maybe build a hot rod and one starfighter to. I don't know. I don't know. You laugh, but maybe this is what they think. I don't know.
But, I don't know.
Yeah, they get the dialogue between Mando and Colonel Sanders. Not Colonel Sanders. Barney Fife.
Right. Yeah, they're talking in the bar. He makes a silly, flippant little joke about, "Oh, you're smile."
Why is he so nice now? Why is Mando so nice?
Mando was never really a dick. Oh, great, we lost him. He's got to stop doing that. But no, this is the funny thing with this episode is, oh, here he goes. There you are.
It cuts me off at 120 minutes. 1 hour and 20 minutes is when it's just like Disney's like, F you, get out of here.
I got to learn to vamp better when you're gone. But no, like I was gonna say is that Mando's not really a big asshole necessarily. They were certainly trying to show him as being certainly cutthroat and brutal and stuff like that, at least in the first season 1 and stuff like that, and he has a bit of a conscience and stuff like that. So even in season 2 he was somehow managing to communicate with the freaking sand people somehow, but that's a whole
sand language
thing. Whatever. But no, he was never really a dick, so it wasn't like it was anything out of the being unordinary or whatever for him to be talking casually or friendly, whatever, with this guy, with Vance. So no, they just after the little conversation and Mando's heading out.
I love how it says there's no easy way to ask for a favor.
Right.
I was like, okay.
But just ask him for the freaking
Just ask him for the favor. Stop
jerking around and just
You're
do
Mandalorian,
it.
Not up, man.
Yeah.
Ask him.
Well, and then once Mando's heading off to leave, Vanth is kind of realizing, okay, I'm gonna have to
do something.
I'm gonna have to tell the townsfolk what happened at the beginning of the episode, basically,
and
that we're gonna possibly see some shit. And enter Cad Bane. To which I'm just like, of course, another one of Filoni's freaking characters has to make an appearance. I don't understand the big appeal to this character. I never really gravitated towards him during the Clone Wars.
What do you mean? He almost killed Fennec Shand. This is Cad Bane, the Wyatt Earp of Star Wars. I'm so sick and tired of this Western. I feel like Filoni or Favreau, they have a fetish for like Westerns, like spaghetti Westerns or something. This whole here, I got my blood pressure and I'm going on rant, but like,
because the whole setup to this is basically like I made the note too. It's like an old fashioned showdown.
So this is my notes. I said Marshall sees this cloaked figure, or Marshall sees this cloaked figure that cloaked. Oh my god, I'm so pissed. Cloaked figure that appears in the distance.
Right.
Walks towards the towns. Freaking Cad Bane, aka the Stranger, and then engaging the dialogue between Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane, which this guy.
So no, this is the funniest damn thing in the freaking world. That now they want to admit this. How he says Boba Fett is a cold-blooded killer who worked with the Empire. Oh, so now Boba Fett's a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah.
Since when?
You have
certainly not since you got him out of the damn Sarlacc pit.
Yeah. What an interesting play for them to take. You have demasculinized this character from the get-go, but now you have the audacity to say Boba Fett was a cold-blooded killer that worked. Like, what?
What? Since when?
He's been kissing babies and petting kittens this whole 6 episodes. Well, really,
he's been kissing banthas and petting rancors.
Yeah. And I just want to point that I'm still pissed that they haven't brought Danny Trejo back. He always gets the shaft. Always gets the shaft in all of his movies. I'm
sure it'll be in the finale.
No, but yeah.
Although all my predictions have been wrong at this point, so fuck.
I have a strong inkling that like Filoni created Cad Bane, and it's just another like his favorite character, and that's why he's bringing him into this whole.
Well, he brings Ahsoka into everything.
Well, maybe Ahsoka first. I don't know, but
I don't think Cad Bane made an appearance in Rebels, but I know Ahsoka fucking did.
Yeah, because
there's a whole big arc with her coming
Vader in that temple or whatever it was. But when I watched this whole scene, I don't know if I'm watching Star Wars, The Book of Boba, or if I'm watching Tombstone.
Well, look at it. We've already gone through so many genres, right?
I wrote here.
I joked how when Boba took Fennec Shan to the tattoo parlor, it was like a cyberpunk setting suddenly.
Right.
It wasn't Star Wars.
Hey,
that's for damn
Cyberpunk,
sure.
they were on like the top 5. It was in like the top 10 games of the year, top 5. So you gotta hit that demographic. You gotta hit like Tombstone, one of the probably the greatest Western movie of all time. I'll die on. But it's like I wrote here like good old fashioned OK Corral standoff. Yeah,
exactly right. That's exactly right.
With his like, and then how is he able to hold a blaster with those Grinch fingers?
I noted when I was watching it
balloon
again this morning.
fingers.
When I was watching it again this morning, I'm like, his fingers look really deformed, or
they look like. Did you? This
like you said, kind
of
balloony, or
yeah. You know what they look like? E.T.'s fingers. For those of you that ever saw E.T.
Yes, you're right. I didn't even consider that. Yes, it did.
How the hell does he? How's he able to hold? How is he able to hold a blaster and then get the blaster out?
My only guess is that those are some specialized blasters made specifically for him.
For his balloon, his ET hands.
His ET
I was waiting
fingers,
for them to glow, and I was waiting for them to light up. Honestly,
that would have been great. Great.
You know, it's just interesting that this conversation between Cad Bane and Corn on the Cob.
Because it's him coming into town, and he's like, the syndicate is willing to pay you more money than Boba Fett will ever be willing to offer. All you have to do is to stay here in town and not get involved.
It wasn't even that. They said, "We'll match it."
Yeah.
So,
match it.
Yeah, but it's like the dialogue, like so. And again, like I've watched Clone Wars. So the Cad Bane in the Clone Wars, just the dialogue is not the same. It might sound similar, but it's not even like this character. I don't know. No, it's like I know how you feel about the Clone Wars. The only good thing is
the videos I sent you.
Yeah, it's like the only good thing is the first 5 minutes of the 1940 radio ads.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the few things I'll say was like, okay, that was a nice touch.
Yeah, but I don't understand the dialogue. I don't like why Cad Bane. What again? This is another example of like there's no content or context when you bring a character in, like the Cad Bane, if you go off the Clone Wars, was pre-Vader. So like, how is this fossil still around? How's he not died yet?
I was talking about that with my brother, actually. I was like, I don't know the lifespan of this guy.
I don't even know
I'm pretty sure Cad Bane was a full-fledged adult by time when Clone Wars was going on. So he'd have to be into his 70s or something or older. Unless he apparently has a clone body or something like that he jumps into himself.
Right.
He used
the essence.
I don't know.
He did what Bane did. He used the essence of transfer. That's what happened.
Don't give him something cool like that.
Yeah. But
I'm just like I don't know the lifespan of his particular species.
What is he though? What I couldn't even find out what he was. I don't know what species he is, but yeah, I thought he was well in his up there in age, just based off how he was fighting in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I could have sworn he was at least like a full-fledged adult.
I mean, he literally got almost beat up by Fennec Shand in Clone Wars. So
okay, so he is a Duros.
Huh. Duros, yes,
I knew he looked similar to the Duros, but I didn't think it was actually one.
What's the lifespan on a Duros?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
Just out of curiosity.
Nothing.
He's immortal.
Why not? Yeah. Somebody's got to be.
I mean, Disney can do that.
They can do anything at this point. What does it matter? They can do anything.
Yeah. So,
I'm getting nothing on that. So. The deputy gets himself basically shot.
What an idiot!
Because he just didn't want to let the sheriff, the marshal, whatever, handle the situation. I mean, I understand he wanted to have his back. I get that, But he was itching. He had that itchy trigger finger. He wanted to do something. He wanted to get involved, and boy, did he! Because everybody is much more ruthless and efficient than Boba Fett at this point. Everybody.
Can we just touch on why is it a marshal and why is it a deputy?
I don't know.
And why did they?
You'd have to ask the brain children over in freaking Disney.
And why are you dressing like
it's again like we've already
a starring role in Tombstone with Russell?
It's again it's all of that. It's all kind of tapping into all those different little genres.
But why?
And stuff like that instead of being Star Wars.
These kids nowadays don't even know what Tombstone is. So why are you doing it? Dude, this is my theory. And I could be wrong.
They don't know anything.
Prior to this is my theory. Prior to this episode, Filoni watched Toy Story, the three of them, and had a hard on for Woody and just wanted to maybe, I don't know, give two people the role of I don't know. I don't know. That's my theory. You love Toy Story and now you want to incorporate Toy Story that whole
it's another Disney property, right?
I don't know. It's a ridiculous thought, but this is a ridiculous episode. I don't get it.
It is full on.
Why? Why Western? Is there any history of Western type, even talk, planet, culture within Star Wars?
I know they've had certain clothing and stuff that's been maybe reminiscent or similar to like samurai and stuff like that, but I mean, it's other than Cad Bane coming in with the big cowboy hat look and everything. That's been about it that I can think of. I mean, but
you got Keanu Reeves trench coat and
but I mean, the whole scoundrel and stuff like that.
Listen, Han, yeah, he had that type of holster set up, but it didn't look like a freaking OK Corral holster. Or like it didn't look, you know what I mean? It's just different. In my opinion.
No, I know. I
guess
I'm just trying to make some level of sense to it all.
I don't know. Good luck. We could spend the next 5 years trying to figure out.
So I mean, Vanth, he got taken out, but did he die? I mean, it didn't seem like he died.
Thing, you bastard.
He didn't seem like he died.
Well, the deputy, I'm assuming, died, and again,
the deputy. The deputy is definitely bantha food, but
fodder. Is it fodder food? Whatever.
Either of the two. But no, it seemed like I'm guessing Vanth survives. He's gonna.
So why give him a med pack? Did they just automatically assume like, homeboy over there, he's dead. He got shot.
Oh yeah, well he got blasted to holy hell. So it's like,
you're done. But
Bane was efficient on him because look at how many times he shot his ass. But it looked like they were kind of med packing him up.
I'm calling it right now. He's not gonna die.
No.
Well, one or two things gonna happen. He's either gonna die and the town's gonna be pissed off and fight the Pikes,
right?
Or he's not gonna die and they're gonna fight. And
he's gonna rally. He's gonna rally everyone.
Either way, they're gonna go. Either way. I'm gonna say
so, and then we get the ridding of those filthy Twi'leks. They get to die a horrible death.
Oh, are you talking about the
bar?
The sanctuary is what?
Yeah, I don't remember what they called that bar.
Yeah, the sanctuary.
But yeah,
business in the front,
Pike,
party in the back.
The syndicate members go walking in, sit down, drop their thing, order drinks, but then get up to leave. And she's suspecting something's up, tries to check on things until it's too late and it's like, everything goes kaboom.
I love the fact that like it hit, like she realized it when they were walking out. She's like, I'm dead.
Yeah, she the look on her face was like, oh shit, I'm
this bar thing, this sanctuary reminds me of a mullet. And you're gonna think like, Jay Hitman, what are you talking about? Well, yeah, party in the front or business in the front, party in the back.
Oh, I was I wanted to hear. I made sure I heard correct that you said mullet.
Oh, 100%
like,
Joe
okay.
Dirt mullet. Business in the front, party in the back.
Some very dirty parties in the back.
Yeah. But again, yeah, very dirty party. But again, like, I'm sitting there wondering, I'm like, why? Do they refuse to pay the Pikes money? Is it because Boba
I think
was there?
It might have been that. It might have been because of Boba Fett and sending a message that, you know, even though you quote unquote protect this town or this establishment, we could very easily send some people in to blow it to holy hell.
Yeah.
So I think it's supposed to be like a whole sending a message sort of thing, because we just had also, you know, a hired gun go and prevent any kind of extra foot soldiers to be in Boba Fett's employ via Cad Bane. So they're making their moves, because like it was before Cad Bane was leaving too. He's like, you know, the Tatooine is owned by the Syndicate. Basically, get in line. So
what are your thoughts on like this whole helmet cleaning couple? I would tell them to pound sand if they came up and asked me to clean my helmet.
Oh,
like,
those
why
two.
are they? Why is this a thing?
That was so weird. I thought that was weird too. I was like, what? Helmet
Why?
cleaning? Why?
They're the ones that are running the stuff in the back. If you're actually wondering,
Oof.
they're not the
Most
front of
definitely.
story. They're not the front of
they're
store of 10.
They're not the
definitely
part
in the back.
They're not the business. No,
No,
they're
running the extracurricular activities in the back. If you know what I'm saying. I'm surprised Ahsoka's not back there. Okay, that's the last one, I promise. That's the last one, I promise. Okay, so, yeah, blows it up to smithereens. Did you catch what I said?
Too much.
Okay, too much. Okay. So blows it up.
It blows up the establishment. We're now rid of the Twi'leks. Although it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if what's her face, the main hostess of that bar, somehow it comes out alive because she somehow got behind a counter or something like that and managed to survive.
She probably got behind the two couple. I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me, right?
But we go down to this is what's irritating though. Like, so that happens, and then where are we at again? Luke,
so now we're back to Luke and Grogu.
Meditating part 32.5.
And so my notes are, you know, Luke shows the chainmail armor Mando brought to Grogu. Grogu gets but drops a choice ultimatum to Grogu and Luke showing him Yoda's lightsaber, and then, you know, says how he has a choice. He has a choice of the paths he must choose. And Luke is lecturing on attachment, despite that despite all the things that he did to get him through his experiences and ultimately helped him save the galaxy, as his attachment to his father brought him back to the light, killing Palpatine and ending the Empire. So, you know, it's just funny, you know, he's trying to lecture the little creature on attachments and stuff like that, and continue
He's the master of it.
Continue the old dogmatic ways of the old Jedi. And yet, you know, even though it was his attachments to Han and Leia that, you know, it got him into trouble, no doubt. But at the same time,
it lost him his arm. His hand.
It did. He lost a hand. But, you know, ultimately, though, that the way he went about trying to, you know, save basically the soul of his father from the dark side and all of that, that was an attachment he had to him, just by knowing that he's his father, and he wanted to save him beyond any shadow of a doubt, and he believed he could. And it was that big moment, you know, that he went through all of that and was able to turn Anakin back to the light, and Anakin then kills Palpatine, fulfilling his destiny as the chosen one. And saving, you know, I mean, it's again, it's like if anybody wanted their clear-cut evidence that this is all leading towards Luke drinking the titty milk on freaking whatever that fucking planet was, this has been
Has
it.
to.
Where you know, he's given up on the Jedi. All those shoddy old texts. they're it's all pointless. It's all dead. This is the start. And it's so okay. So this was I grabbed my, like I mentioned earlier, I marked this spot off on the for the paperback version of Revenge of the Sith. So this is on page 427. I'm going to read a big chunk here because I mean this is all part of what also lays the groundwork and ideas for the change of the Jedi. So
I gotta remember. I'm trying to remember page 425.
Yeah, don't worry. Like I said,
Is it the
you'll know once I start going into this.
Yeah.
All right. It came when the Avatar of Light resolved into the lineage of the Jedi, when the lineage of the Jedi refined into one single Jedi. It came when Yoda found himself alone against the dark. In that lightning speared tornado of feet and fists and blades and bashing machines, his vision finally pierced the darkness that had clouded the Force. Finally, he saw the truth that he, the Avatar of Light, supreme master of the Jedi Order, the fiercest, most implacable, most devastatingly powerful foe the darkness had ever known, just didn't have it. He never had it. He had lost before he started. He had lost before he was born. The Sith had changed. The Sith had grown, had adapted, had invested 1,000 years intensive study into every aspect of not only the Force, but Jedi lore itself. In preparation for exactly this day, the Sith had remade themselves. They had become new, while the Jedi had spent that same millennium training to refight the last war. The new Sith could not be destroyed with a lightsaber. They could not be burned away by any torch of the Force. On to 428. The brighter his light, the darker their shadow. How could one win a war against the dark when war itself had become the dark's own weapon? He knew at that instant that this insight held the hope of the galaxy, but if he fell here, that hope would die with him. Yoda thought, a problem this is. And this when I first was going through this was definitely one of those, oh, holy shit sort of moments, because it was that extra insight given from Yoda's perspective of, dude, we screwed up.
Yeah.
Like it says right there, they've been fighting the same fight for the 1,000 years, and it's been nothing but the same for them, while the Sith, from Bane's order, rule of two and everything, he set them on a new path, instead of doing the same old Sith thing. They were training in a different way. They were keeping themselves secret, hidden, until the moment was right when they could finally take their enemies out almost 100%. And that's, pretty much what ended up happening. But I mean, that's just one of the big moments right there. And then also, this is where it's funny too. In the chapter 21, A New Jedi Order. On page 441, so beneath that dome sat Yoda. He did not look at the stars. He sat a very long time. Even after nearly 900 years, the road to self-knowledge was rugged enough to leave him bruised and bleeding. He spoke softly, but not to himself. Though no one was with him, he was not alone. My failure this was. Failed the Jedi I did. He spoke to the Force, and the Force answered him. Do not blame yourself, my old friend. As it sometimes had these past 13 years, when the Force spoke to him, it spoke in the voice of Qui-Gon Jinn. Too old I was, said Yoda, too rigid, too arrogant, to see that the old way is not the only way. These Jedi I trained to become the Jedi who had trained me. Long centuries ago, but those ancient Jedi of a different time they were, changed. Changed has the galaxy. Changed. The Order did not, because let it change, I did not. More easily said than done, my friend. Again, that's just it. Just even in this moment where it's Yoda realizing the Jedi needs themselves to change, to evolve, to go on a different path, and yet here we are. We have Luke and Ahsoka overly stating the worries of attachments and stuff like that, and just keeping it to those old standards of, you know, keeping certain things suppressed and forgetting. Basically, it's kind of, you know, taking the younglings to the Jedi and forgetting their parents, and all there is the Jedi, instead of adapting to the idea of, yeah, you know, Grogu was adopted by this Mandalorian. He could theoretically be a Mandalorian Jedi.
Yeah.
So it's never been outside that realm of possibilities, except for now, when they decide to keep themselves on this stupid path of, you know, the sequel trilogy, because they're not going to admit they're ever wrong and actually try and go, you know what? Okay, maybe we will change things up. But we know that can't be the case, because they can't ever admit they were wrong about something, about the way they've already set up their own lore, despite how often they like to contradict themselves.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just like, you know, this is part of their Lucas's established canon. I mean, like, it is based on the story and screenplay by George Lucas, just slightly changed up to be in a book format. It's still part of the story. And yet here you have it, you know, retreading old ground, because that's all they wanted to do, was retread old ground and keep like we already said earlier, them trying to do something potentially better than Lucas already established. But they keep dropping the ball, despite these people acting like they're so goddamn smart about it.
Yeah, I just wonder if they even read if they read the novel by Matthew Stover, because again, I mean, that was perfect, but it just doesn't make any sense. Like the way that Ahsoka, like you mentioned earlier, what Ahsoka is now pushing, what Luke's pushing, that's the old school Jedi mentality. And Yoda, I mean, Luke trained under him. My goodness, you think that Yoda wouldn't have maybe alluded to the fact that like the old way was probably not good, or, you know, maybe it's in his diary and nobody has found it, but
somewhere in those old texts that they get burned up in Last Jedi, right?
Can we not?
Whenever he decides to have those in hand.
So to your point, it's like Disney is good stealing from Lucas when they want to steal.
Yeah.
But not when it makes sense. So
absolutely. It's like,
I thought you were going to bring up something. Yeah.
What did you think I was going to bring up?
Well, no, I think you went a lot further into what I did, but I was just sitting there and I was like, how did Luke get hit? How did Luke get Yoda's lightsaber? Because if you remember when Yoda's battling Palpatine, at least,
he gets it. At least in the movie, it shows him losing it. But I was like kind of skimming through this really quick, and it talks about him cutting through things to get out.
Okay.
So and apparently in some book on all the different locations in Star Wars, it points out Yoda having a lightsaber.
I guess you could have always made another one.
So I was gonna make that a point, but after doing some looking around and everything, supposedly, he could have.
The other thing,
he supposedly built another lightsaber at some point.
The other thing I can't remember if you touched on it a few minutes ago, but so Luke's sitting there giving him a choice between the Beskar chainmail and saying you can return to your
lightsaber
and lightsaber. But I'm like, didn't they 3 or 2 episodes ago allude to the fact that there was a Mandalorian Jedi named Tar Vizsla?
Yeah,
who made the
they
dark saber. So
yep.
why now? Why is it okay for a Mandalorian to be a Jedi and not for this Mandalorian fondling Yoda species to be a Mandalorian and Jedi?
Well, apparently Luke isn't all up to speed on the Mandalorian lore, so he doesn't know that aspect of there being a once Jedi Mandalorian that made them a special lightsaber, basically.
Right.
No, this whole thing just reeks because it's like, you could have Luke taking the Jedi Order and yes, evolving it into a new pathway instead of what that all that was prior.
I'll say this. Yeah, I'll say this. It's like you you give him the choice whether to go back to be a Mandalorian or a Jedi, but you have the audacity to come up with this High Republic shit and have Chewbacca have a Wookiee becoming a Jedi. and then you have and then a Trandoshan being a Jedi.
they like. I can't speak about the Trandoshans, but I do think it's funny how often now they're making a bunch of Wookiees. Oh dear Lord, that's a scary thought.
I'm waiting.
The funny thing is, there's been all sorts
for a Jawa to be.
Hey, Obi-Wan said it himself. The Force is in all living beings. It passes through us. Yada yada yada. So it's not
a Jawa, not a Wookiee.
I could have sworn there was something about the Wookiees weren't supposed to be able to.
No, they're actually
be Force sensitive.
Not Force sensitive.
If I've started to question that over time if I was correct. I'll have to look into it one of these days. But I could have sworn, the Wookiees weren't supposed to.
There's nothing you can say that will convince me that a Wookiee can use the Force.
But isn't it funny though? It's like Luke gives this.
They can use Force.
This giant ultimatum to him. You have to pick this or you have to pick that. It can't be, a shared. It's funny too because this is little Beskar armor, and he was already talking earlier.
But it's a dick move because they're both shiny.
But this is the funny thing. Earlier in the episode, he was talking about how going out into the world and how dangerous the world is out there, and yet you would think. Wouldn't you want them to be as protected as possible? So not only with the defense of the Jedi or of the lightsaber and deflecting blaster bolts and all that sort of shit, wouldn't you want them with something that he wears underneath clothing to hide that would protect him from other forms of attack? I mean, Jedi are meant to be their whole aspect is being defensive, right? Perfect. He's got the ultimate defense going on. Unless somebody went for his little dome. But that's beside the point. He at least has all of that armoring and then the knowledge and skill of using a lightsaber would be a
and it would make more sense because
Sorry, go ahead.
Stormtroopers can't hit anything.
I'm sorry, it cut you off there.
I said you, and it would make more sense to do the chainmail because stormtroopers can't hit anything. So,
those poor stormtroopers.
Yeah, I know. Unless you're the 501st or.
Unless they're meant to hit what they're supposed to hit, and
they
hit it every time. Otherwise,
I have to retract my statement. I was incorrect. The 501st were clones. Stormtroopers are not clones. So
true.
Unless you're a stormtrooper, they just dumb and can't hit anything. That's one thing. But that's why the 501st are deadly. Yeah.
Imperial standards just aren't what they used to be.
Tarkin really screwed the pooch on that whole training.
Apparently.
We gotta get to the Bad Batch.
So do you think we in the next episode of Book of Boba Fett, do you think we will get Grogu's answer, or do you think this will be held till season 3 of Mandalorian? What are you thinking?
I think they're gonna wait.
You think
I could be wrong. So I had Taco Bell earlier. So it's either Taco Bell or I don't know, man. I kind of half and half, but I really think they're gonna wait.
Most likely. It would.
They don't have much options. They have 2 more episodes, unless they're going to come out and say
I think they have one more episode, unless they're going to do 8 episodes.
Is it going to 7 and not 8?
I thought it was 7, but it could be 8. I don't know. Because I mean,
it
like it is, they're certainly trying to gear towards the end of this, while at the same time, it's like, guys, you need to really flesh this out a little bit more.
Well, then they have to. They've already. If it's going to go to 7, then that leads me to believe that they've already started filming Mandalorian season 3. Like they have to.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to come and say, "Oh, joke's on you. We're actually going to do. This is just going to be a continue. This is going to be the new WWE. It's going to do weekly episodic, releases."
Oh, if this is 90, if this is 90s tier WWF, that'd be freaking gold right now.
Oh, Attitude Era, let's go.
Yeah,
but I don't know. They got
part of the problem though is that you have goofs online that are like, "Oh my god, it's so great. We had Ahsoka, Luke, R2 all in one, and Cad Bane all in one episode. Could this not get any better? Oh my god."
I'm like
this is the sort of idiots they're fucking pandering to too. And it's like, apparently that's the easy, that's just the low effort that is needed just to get people to, clap like seals and go, "Oh my god, isn't this so great?" I'm sorry, I just kind of launched into that. I
agree. I agree. This is a new culture. This is the culture that we're living in, and this is the culture that's come to fruition. Makes more sense to cater. Yeah, here's the thing, and
lowest common denominator.
I was at the comic book store earlier. As I've said, I'm a comic fan, and I was talking to one of the guys. So, an interesting argument that was brought up is that I asked the question, now that Disney. Oh, how did I accent it to? I was like, Star Wars now owning Lucas, they've tried to create new canon. They've tried to create new canon, and they're now trying to cater to, this new culture, new demographic, and all this and that. And the guy was like, "Well," and I said, "Is it the same thing? Do you think for Marvel when Disney bought out Marvel? Because for years Marvel has written a certain way, and now they're starting to write a new way." And he's like, "Well, no, I've
heard about that. Like supposedly Marvel was bought to, was it Marvel? It was either Marvel or Star Wars that was bought in order to bring in for Disney a more male demographic."
Yeah,
but as we've seen, the Force is female. And all the
hold on,
doing the exact opposite of
Kathleen Kennedy will tell you that the Force is female,
right?
And what Kathleen Kennedy says is apparently the law of the land.
Yeah. So from what I've heard, that was either of those two was to bring in those, and so it's all part of that.
But he said, so he brought up something interesting. He's like, they're changing how they're writing to now cater to this new generation and this new culture generation, because the generation that grew up on, the purists, if I guess as you will, are about to die. Like, and I was like, well, the only problem with that argument is like Marvel is like the characters that, like, from when Stan Lee created all these characters, like it's lasted it survived the test of time. Right, so there is no reason, there is no real reason to make new characters and new canon.
And the funny thing is that you can have new diehards basically being created every day from the old. I hate to say, the old fogies like us, even though we're just in our 30s, but it's like, everybody that's either had kids, they're passing on the old OG lore. The original stuff, and going like, hey, and there's other YouTubers out there that'll tell you, go to the old classic comics and stuff like that. In particular, the Bronze Age, whatever age, Silver Age, and stuff like that. Go to those old ones, buy the old comics, and support your store, support your local comic store more than you'd be supporting Marvel and stuff like that. Because the gold storylines are the old stuff prior to, like, I don't know, like 2012 or something like that. You go beyond that point and you're getting more of the better story arcs and stuff like that. So
it was just
I mean, it's definitely them thinking
How do we remain relevant?
That creating this content for a specific generation instead of just creating storylines that are, you know, enjoyable regardless. They feel they have to pander to a certain crowd, I mean, and that's been true for a lot of different things
for sure.
But you know, it's when you got a passionate individual that's just wanting to create a story, put out the story they want to tell, and create the world they want to create and stuff like that, then that's where you usually get these fandoms and stuff like that, like Star Wars, Star Trek, Stargate, Farscape, and all those old stuff that came about that brought people in and, you know, had an imaginative world and fun storylines, and sometimes they're serious storylines and just a very, you know, great fleshed out characters. It wasn't that they were a certain thing, it was just that they were greatly written characters that people were like, oh man, that person's cool as hell. You know,
I just find it interesting.
Simple things.
Do they think that like the purists or the people that are like EU fanatics and loyalists are like, do they think that we're going anywhere, and that's why they're catering to this new generation and this culture of, you know, like, I don't know. Like,
no, I don't think it's that they think we're going anywhere. It's more that they're trying to force us out.
They don't more of them than us type thing.
They don't want us as their audience.
Clientele.
They don't want us as their, you know,
representation.
Representation, consumers, whatever you want to. I hate whatever word you want to freaking use, but they don't want our people, our mindsets, or whatever it is you want. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
They just don't want
corrupt the new children of the
well, unfortunately, there's plenty of ways for that to happen.
Yeah.
But it's they don't want us around passing on the information or the old stories. It's like
the canon.
Some of these people out there are basically like the storytellers themselves. They're the ones passing on. They're like the old person at the campfire telling all the old stories of, you know, times past, and, you know, oh, you want to hear a story? Well, I've got one for you. Here's one about Revan and his fight against the Mandalorians, or, you know, here's the beginning.
How he whooped the mess out of Malik on the bridge, or, you know,
the beginnings of Darth Bane, or, you know, any of those, anything is they're scared of it most of all. So
better buy up the legend books before they get rid of them.
That's been kind of, I'm of the mindset of, you know, hunt out those old books, hunt out the old the Dark Horse comics, while you can, and get them at a decent price, because when they continue to make more stuff, and if they ever actually adapt anything, that's when prices skyrocket. But because they're either out,
they'll sell a High Republic book for $8.99, but if you want to buy the Bane series, it's going to be $32.47
for
some
book.
Ridiculous number.
No, it'll be. I've looked on eBay for like the whole trilogy, and they can get up into the 200s and stuff for.
I have three
mainly
in my
mainly for the hardcovers.
Yeah, well, that's hard
for the old hardcovers of the books, because those ones usually look the best.
Yeah, it lasts a little bit longer.
Yeah, but no, it's they just kind of want to kick out the old guard and bring in a new one of their own that they are in control of. That's why
Joke's on you. Can't kill Palpatine. Sucks to suck.
It's why Disney and Lucasfilm, whatever you want to call it now, they bring in their new characters, and they want to get rid of the old characters, and also certainly bastardize the old characters in any way that they can to try and make people like the new characters more than the legacy characters.
Yeah, you bring something interesting. Touch on this real quick. So I almost wonder if they're butchering these characters so the new Children of the Mouse would never want to, I don't know, like them.
We talked about that in some of the other episodes, is that their whole deconstruction of the old legacy characters, and how, you know, they took look at what they did to Han in Force Awakens. turned him back into a dipshit smuggler
yeah.
who abandoned his family
They're
and
like
became a lousy deadbeat father. And then he runs into a freaking lightsaber. And then Last Jedi, Luke, fucked off to some planet because he just couldn't take it anymore because his nephew had a bad dream and was almost going to kill him, but then, second guessed it at the last minute, but it's a little too late by that fucking point. And then goes off to that planet, starts drinking titty milk and doesn't give a crap about anybody. And this is trying to, I'm the last of the Jedi and the Jedi must die.
It's like,
dude,
Boba Fett is this, but I don't like Boba. I like this Cobb Vanth guy though. He's pretty cool. Like you paint Boba as this, you demasculinize Boba, but like this Cobb Vanth guy is the new, like the new hot stuff. Like it's like,
well, it's more the Din Djarin though. It's supposed to be the new hot.
Mandalorians. Yes. Boba is old news. This Din Djarin guy though, he's the new talk of the.
I mean, that was basically the whole point of the first season of Mandalorian was.
But if you had put Din Djarin, this guy, up against the real Boba, like the Boba that Lucas created, not like would eat his lunch money and take his would eat his lunch money. Would take his lunch. It'd probably do both. He'd probably eat his lunch and take his money and eat his lunch money. But that's just the whole thing. Like you're putting up Din Djarin against a version of Boba Fett that you've created that it has no. It's not even reminiscent of a Boba from a bygone era. It's a totally different Boba.
No,
this is a Grandpa Vision Boba that loves everybody.
They're trying to play off or go off of the whole idea that it's like once he got out of that Sarlacc pit, he basically had a form of PTSD.
Listen, I'll tell you what. Like if I was stuck in there, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed too. But I would probably be more angry, or I'd be more angry coming out of it than I was in it.
But it's the thing though. It's like the old comics. I was watching OG Star Wars review that she did for Blood Ties 1 and 2 of that goes into the backstory of Jango Fett a little bit and also Boba Fett and how Jango trained him. And I think we talked about this on one of the episodes, but no, he basically has to. Jango takes Boba to face a creature that is the most deadliest in basically the whole galaxy, and tells him he has to retrieve the tooth of the beast. And so once Boba manages to do all that, and I'm butchering the story. If you ever want to go look up the Star Wars Blood Ties, but. Boba successfully gets the tooth, comes back and goes, okay, I've done this. Now, what the hell was the point to all this? And Jango basically tells Boba, you have now faced the most fearsome creature in all the galaxy. You did it. You have now nothing to be fearful of. There's nothing you need to fear anymore, basically. Yeah. And it's like, dude, that's fucking cool. Yeah, it's like okay, so what's a weird mouth in the ground really gonna do to him that's gonna scare him. It's gonna scare him straight, basically, because that's what happened. He got scared straight. But what's a weird tentacle monster gonna do to him other than because
that's not to take away from when you know anything, like when you get down and talk about what really the Sarlacc pit is and what happens to you. I mean, you don't want to take credit away, but that again, the Sarlacc pit up against what you're talking about is night and day. There's no comparison. So Sarlacc pit wasn't a fun time. From what I've kind of researched about it, it's not the greatest time ever.
No, it's not the greatest time in the world, but it's something that Boba Fett was capable of surviving.
Yeah,
as we know from true canon versus
what they did
to him with the mouse.
He wasn't sucking his thumb after he spent,
and curling up with a bantha.
Better than a Jawa, maybe. I don't know.
I guess that's true.
So I don't even know. So, should we do our customary figure skating rating of the episode? I don't even think this episode should be mentioned on a scale at all.
Well, like I it's Book of Boba Who.
Yeah.
It's like this is supposed to be a series involving Boba Fett, and he's a guest star. If I were to rate
I don't even know if he called a
in
guest star. He appeared
barely
all of
that
10 seconds.
He had a cameo.
Yeah.
I mean, if going off of that alone, it's like it's like a 0 out of 10.
Book of the Jar.
If you're looking at it from even what a person can know about the Star Wars mythology, it would be maybe a 3 out of 10. But even that's probably being generous.
Well, I don't even. Yeah, I mean that's very generous. I don't even know what planet Luke was on.
Yeah, but then going back to knowing what he's gonna become, back to the 0 out of 10, because it's like, man, this is all leading to disaster. It's the beginning of the end. Because that's all it is. Because this is gonna be the burned down temple that we saw in flashbacks in the sequel trilogy. So
I don't know. For me, like I can't even rate it. Like I just get madder and madder each chapter. Like you go from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
God,
to
those were simpler times.
Yeah, I think I'm more mad because you could have done so much. Like go to Yavin, like follow the books, stop being prideful, but I think you made a good point too. I think they are trying to push out the loyalists and the purists, and they're doing so I'll give it like can 0 be negative? Can you do like a negative 0?
Negative 10 out of 10?
Like negative? Like no, I'm on. Like seriously, like no, yeah. There's nothing. I've been able to take bits and pieces from each episode or each chapter, I should say, and say, like this was okay and that okay. Like there's nothing.
But that's like what I said earlier. It's like there's aspects of this I want to like, but
yeah, no, I agree.
When you know the future of it,
but on principle, you can't.
I don't see how anybody could. It boggles my mind on how anybody's like, so actually these have been some of the best episodes so far. I guess, yeah, but to what standard are you going off of it?
Like, what are you comparing it to? Are you comparing?
Yeah,
it to
what are you comparing it to? It's like we all know
watching paint on the house dry, or I don't. To what standard you match it to?
At least watching paint dry, at least you've been productive and gotten something done.
No, that's true. I'm very curious where they're going to go with the next episode. If they're doing 7, they're screwed. I don't know. And it's
basically,
and I don't. That's going to be an hour that we're going to have to watch. We have to literally get through an hour.
If that, I mean, they might still make it a 45-30 minute episode.
And they just, that's about the end of Book of Boba. It was a real knee turner, or a real page turner. Now we're just going to turn it to the Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going to be coming next, though. Is it going to be?
I wonder if this has just been a filler to kind of buy time until they could get season 3 underway. Like maybe Book of Boba won't even have.
I think that was the point of Book of Boba Fett, was to basically be like a filler time before they get Mando out. But then I don't know what's supposed to be coming. Is it supposed to be Mando, or is it going to be a Kenobi show?
Kenobi, there's Kenobi. They've not there's a trailer on Disney Plus, but they've not put any release date. If you really want to get mad, go watch that trailer on Disney Plus. But yeah, they talked about Ahsoka. They've talked about Kenobi. I've even heard rumors, and there's nothing been verified, but a Darth Maul series is coming out with after post Witch Sisters or whatever, after he gets his legs from them.
Right, when he gets after.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be after he gets kicked out of Mandalore, or
I don't. Yeah.
Is it supposed to be him trying to be the criminal organizer or whatever?
Yeah. I'll tell you this though: if this was just to be a filler, until The Mandalorian season 3 came out, they did Tamora Morrison dirty. They did him dirty. That was the case,
they did it, especially for a guy that was probably excited to come back to Star Wars.
100%. Because I will say he did portray, good Django, and like I think he did from an acting standpoint. Like I think he portrayed it pretty well. But to like invite you back, they did him just as dirty as they did Ian McDiarmid, bringing him back as Palpatine to get beat by somebody who had 3 months of training.
hey, now train some more in.
Yeah, she is every Jedi.
Skywalker, and she's
a fart.
Even though she's a Palpatine, she's every Jedi ever.
How you get beat by your granddaughter?
Boy.
Yeah, they done him dirty.
They did, they did Sheev dirty. That was
they did Sheev dirty, and
it was like trying to. I remember when I finally watched it, I tried to look at it as the highlight. It's like, okay, we got Ian McDiarmid back as Palpatine, but it's like he couldn't save that giant turd. He couldn't.
Even if he wanted to, he couldn't.
Even if he wanted to, he couldn't. There was nothing to be done for that movie. So
because we know who's pulling the strings. Kathleen Kennedy.
We got
to figure out what do we want to do? Well, we got to figure out what comes next, because if it is, like I said, the last episode, we got to figure out is it Mandalorian season 3?
Well, so we'll probably find out with whatever the stinger is going to be at the last episode.
That's what they're going to do. It's either going to be 7 or 8.
That's going to be their announcement. It's going to be like Mandalorian season 3 coming, blah blah blah, or Kenobi coming, blah blah blah. So do
you think there's going to be a wait period, or do you think there's going to
probably going to be a bit of a wait period? I'd imagine.
We have enough content to go over.
Oh, absolutely,
multiple stuff, but 0 out of 10. Highly don't recommend. Don't waste your time. You could get better spoiler. You get
Go to the old content. Dig it up. There's either online, or if you want to go and get the physical copies, they're out there for you. So start indulging.
Yeah, support
this
brick and mortar.
This ain't doing it for you, for me at least. I mean, if it's doing it for anyone else, I guess, hey, more power to you.
Let us know if it is.
Yeah.
I
All
guess.
right. I think we'll save Dark Empire.
Yeah.
Because we're going over 2 hours now.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it, honestly.
No, we had a lot to go over on this one.
Yeah,
I certainly wanted to bring up a few extra things for sure. So,
well, even bringing up those few extra things, I don't think is what put us over the 2. I think it was just there's so much content in this episode. So,
there's plenty to rip apart.
We'll do that. We'll do the palate cleanse the next one.
Yep. So just as some extra little stuff to put out there, I have been putting the replays for the show on Rumble and BitChute. I've also been putting the audio on RSS.com, of course, and also I finally connected it to Apple Podcasts. So I want to say they should be starting to pop up on there for anybody that wants to re-listen or listen on there. You absolutely can now. All the episodes are up there, and so will this new one as soon as I get it up, get it set. Otherwise, everything's in the description. Everybody have a good night.
Wonderful night. Thank you for tuning in.
Adios.